probably because of my kind of background in university teaching hospitals at Imperial and at Southampton and in Oxford, I kind of came into this organisation with I suppose, a clear view about the kind of the value that a academic environment around research and education, particularly, brings in terms of the kind of quality of clinical care that we can provide because of being a learning environment, a learning organisation, and what it also does in terms of the attractiveness as an organisation for staff potentially to come and work with us and also stay, in this environment, if actually their own academic interests can be advanced, whether it is in the area of research or whether we are able to develop people through the strength of our education capability. So very early on in 2017, I kind of set out the fact that, as an organisation, we've got three interdependent kind of legs of a stool. So, the ambition to deliver outstanding clinical services in terms of quality is related to, how we set an environment that, really promotes research, and also we, have an environment that creates, develops and expands education opportunities in the broadest sense within the organisation. So this organisation, notwithstanding its relationship with the university, has had a good track record in its commitment to research, and was one of the kind of highest NIHR recruiting organisations as a district general hospital in the country. And also it always had a very strong commitment to research, particularly postgraduate education, as part of being a deanery training location for doctors in training, pharmacists, etc. So there was both the kind of the environment where that was already in place, and also we had a number of touch points with the university. So what we really did in 2017 with the Vice-Chancellor prior to Robert was to try and formalise the more strategic partnership and relationship that we had with the university, and to put that on a kind of formal longer-term footing. So in the tail end of 2017, the Vice-Chancellor and I hosted a kind of a summit that was held on within the university premises, where my chairman, my chairman's equivalent within the university, and I'm trying to remember the kind of title of that individual, but senior leadership were present, and we brought together academics from the university and clinicians from the hospital to work through across, I think, the best part of an afternoon and an evening, what were the existing relationships, what were the opportunities, and what was getting in the way. And that effectively led to the formation of the strategic partnership, where both organisations back in 2018 committed initially on a 3-year basis to put funding in. So we each committed $250,000 a year for 3 years, so $1.5 million over a three-year period, to develop the capacity and the capability to support education and research initially, or the development of education and research opportunities across the two organisations through a partnership. And that kind of was delivered through initially something called the Joint Academic Board, the JAB, which had senior representation from both the university and the hospital within. It also, from that allowed us to effectively coordinate the call for joint funding proposals for research and educational programs, and allocate that funding. it also was the sort of forum that allowed us to develop the program around university hospital accreditation, so or departmental accreditation as a university hospital department. I think we're now up to 4, maybe 5 departments who have gone through a very stringent program jointly between the university and ourselves across the 3 domains of quality of care, research and education, and with a very high bar in each of those. And we've got, I think, 4 or 5 university hospital departments. So the University Hospital Department of Emergency Medicine, cardiology, I think we've now got radiology, we've got stroke, and we'll have, more hospital departments will achieve that accreditation over time. And that in part is again to be able to invest and promote the link between the quality of care, research and education, but it's also a way of, again, kind of raising the waterline of our academic standards within the university, within the university and the hospital partnership. So that was back in 2018, and we've recently kind of had at the tail end of 2021, we had a review and refresh of that, and we've just committed to a further 3 to 5 year partnership, which is actually then developed further from the Joint Academic Board into I suppose an extended kind of remit in terms of the oversight of our partnership. And that has started to bring things into it, such as the work we're doing jointly around commercial kind of opportunities, the things we're doing around the joint use of our estate. And it also brings in particularly things like our areas around data science, AI, which is a strength of the university and a strength of ourselves. So the pillars of research and education are still there, and really strong pillars, but we've been able to broaden that out because actually, over the last 3 years, we've really expanded, the number of touch points that we have within this strategic partnership between the university and ourselves. So it's really, really important to us. And, increasingly we'll see hopefully a meshing of also our kind of governance and senior leadership relationships over this next period as well.
So what does it feel like to work with the university then? How would you describe your view of how it works as a partnership and working with the university as an institution?
So very collaborative, very collegiate. There's an alignment strategically in terms of our collective ambitions. I think there is a return on that strategic investment and partnership for both parties, which means that there's good alignment. There's really good personal working relationships, I think, between the senior leadership, so myself and Robert and Janet Lippett, my Chief Medical Officer, and Parveen Yaqub and others, within the leadership group. I think that is then, we're seeing absolutely that also translated into the kind of working relationship between the academic colleagues and our clinical colleagues in terms of the particular research programs and other programs that we've got going. We've probably taken another step in terms of the kind of I suppose the interrelationship we have through things like we've jointly invested quite a significant amount of money, £1 million each, into a new clinical skills suite that will be effectively developed on the White Knights campus. So we're putting £1 million into a physical facility not on our campus, on White Knights. So Robert and I both talk about two organisations, one campus. So how do we start using our kind of physical assets of the campuses that we have in a more kind of effective way? We've just taken out a 10-year lease on one of the White Knights buildings, the Harborne building, and we're moving clinical services into that facility. We already have clinical facilities that run out of another university building, Early House, over on another part of the university estate.